practice facility yesterday for voluntary OTA workouts. Rodgers is reuniting with Mike McCarthy, who was his head coach in Green Bay for 13 seasons and won a Super Bowl together, of course. But now, obviously, we turn our attention to the question that we have to ask. Was it the right move to bring Aaron Rodgers back to the Steelers? What do you think, Stephen A.?
It's not the wrong move. I mean, what recourse do you have? Will Howard, Mason Rudolph, Drew Aller? Are you kidding me? Of course.
Somebody kicked him out of the draft? Did somebody kick them out of free agency? What do you mean they had no recourse? They had recourse for the last 4 months. Go out and get a quarterback.
I'm talking about, I'm just looking at the quarterback room, Wilbon. I totally get where you're coming from. I don't disagree. What I'm saying is it's not a big deal to me that Aaron Rodgers is back. Other than that, the fact is that all he's going to do is because he's good enough to allow them to continue to be mediocre. And what do I mean by mediocre? You ain't a real championship contender, and you don't stink. You're right the middle of the road, which means that you're never going to be able to build but so much through the draft. That's the situation with the Pittsburgh Steelers since Big Ben Roethlisberger, even before he retired. He should have retired about 2 or 3 years before he actually did. All these years the Pittsburgh Steelers have had to find another quarterback. For some reason, they can't pull it off. It's the Mason Rudolphs, it's the Mitchell Trubiskys, it's the Russell Wilsons, it's the Justin Fields of the world, it's the Mason Rudolphs of the world, et cetera, et cetera. I don't understand for the life of me what the hell is going on with the Pittsburgh Steelers organization that they can never seem to find a quarterback. So if that's what your situation is, of course you're going to look at Aaron Rodgers like he's some kind of savior. He had a decent year last year. It wasn't awful. He's a surefire first ballot future Hall of Famer. The brother can ball still. I get it. But he's not what he used to be, all right? He's geriatric in football parlance, but nevertheless, you have to rely on him because somebody in the front office, whether it's Omar Khan or anybody else, ain't doing a good enough job to make sure they could go out there and find a quarterback. That's the dire circumstances that exist with the Pittsburgh Steelers, which is why I'm not excited in any way about him being back. He is not a downgrade. He's an upgrade compared to what they have and have had. But the point is, it should not be coming to that for an NFL franchise in this day and age. You should be able to do a better job finding a quarterback than the Pittsburgh Steelers have done all of these years. And Aaron Rodgers being on the squad still is an indication to me, no knock against him, but that the front office of the Pittsburgh Steelers ain't all they're cracked up to be. It's just that simple.
So since Big Ben left the Steelers, now Aaron Rodgers is the first quarterback to start back-to-back seasons. Like, they haven't been able to find the answer, Wilbon.
Let me go further than Stephen A. just did. He's irrelevant. He's overstated. And by the way, I'm not talking about his career. No. Aaron Rodgers is a first ballot Hall of Famer, a great quarterback for years. He's irrelevant now. What makes him relevant now? This network talking about him every day in, day out, as if they're hanging on and waiting for, Patrick Mahomes 3 years ago. He's irrelevant. At this point, he's not LeBron James. He's not Tom Brady. He's not playing that way into his 40s. This whole thing is overstated. I knew when I saw breaking news. What breaking news? The only breaking news about Aaron Rodgers now is that he's retired. That's the breaking news. They're a third-place team in their own division, unlikely to be able to pass Cincinnati or Baltimore this year. We're talking about now. We're not talking about what Aaron Rodgers has been. So all this breathless waiting on Aaron Rodgers, we're going to chronicle it every day. I'm blaming this network because every time I turn on all of our shows except one, I hear about Aaron damn Rodgers. Again, it makes it sound like I'm criticizing Aaron Rodgers. I'm not. I'm criticizing us. I'm criticizing breaking news. I'm criticizing every day we got to talk about Aaron Rodgers. No, we don't. Well, he's irrelevant. Period.
Well, let me say this to you. First Take, morning show, news, Aaron Rodgers, and we all know I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Wilbon, you've been around me for years. You see how enthused I can be at times, how excited I can get. You tell me the last time you seen me excited about Aaron Rodgers with the Pittsburgh Steelers. You haven't seen that from me because it's like I know it's over. Again, he can still play better than half the quarterbacks in the league. I'll give him that. But in terms of the Pittsburgh Steelers and what they're going to do and where they're going to go with him, the answer is nowhere. Nowhere further, no further than where they went last year. The Pittsburgh Steelers, I will remind everybody, have not won a playoff game since 2016. I love Mike Tomlin. I'm going to miss Mike Tomlin. I respect the hell out of this man, and I'm happy that he's going to be in television taking a year off before he undoubtedly will get a next head coaching job that he deserves. But if we're going to keep it a buck, we have to point out that Mike Tomlin stepped away also after failing to win a playoff game since 2016. They haven't won a playoff game in a decade. This is a 6-time Super Bowl championship franchise, one of the gold standards in NFL annals, and they haven't won a playoff game in a decade. So guess what? When I see a quarterback, if I don't look at that dude as being somebody that's going to deliver me a playoff victory, then I'm not excited. And that explains why I haven't been excited about Aaron Rodgers in a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform.
The good news for Steelers fans is that through weeks 1 through 10, the Steelers have the easiest schedule in the AFC. Maybe he can get out to some sort of, exactly, better take advantage of it. Also, Stephen A., bar is low if you're only looking for one playoff win. That's all I'm going to say.
Does anybody here expect them to finish ahead of Cincinnati or Baltimore?
Nope.
Relative health?
Nope.
Maybe Baltimore because they have a new head coach. Maybe, and there might be a learning curve there.
Nope.
I don't know.
New coach in Pittsburgh, too, last I checked.
That's true. Factual.
Of course, famously. And that community is a hardcore sports community. Mm-hmm. You know, I root for them in a way I would never root for Philly, which always sells its tickets and let Knicks fans come in and run them out of their own building, which was sort of a just please stop with Philly. It was such a fraudulent approach to the NBA playoffs for that city. But Buffalo seemed to have a magic run going on. You know, they've had some pixie dust all over their season until they got into this series. But having Game 7 and home ice has not worked out very well at all this postseason. So I feel bad again for Buffalo fans, particularly those of them who are, and it seems like all of them are, Bills fans, and just get close enough to be crushed.
To your point, the Sabres went from last in the East standings to finish second. They went 39-9-5 over their final 53 games. But Stephen A., you feel for Buffalo this morning?
I do. It's a phenomenal sports town. Make no mistake about it. And it's a damn shame. 0-4 with the Buffalo Bills in Super Bowls. 0-2 with the Buffalo Sabres in the Stanley Cup Finals. Haven't been back since 1999, and they ain't going back now, obviously. And 1-7 in Game 7s. Let's remember that, too. So you just look at them and you're just like, my goodness, this is... It's because you also got to think of locality. You're not trying to be disrespectful or anything like that. But, I mean, you know, when wintertime arrives and we see blizzards in New York City, if you're around the world, if you're around the country and you're looking at a meteorologist talking about, horrid weather, one of the first places that comes up is Buffalo. Notice how it's a snowstorm in New York City, but it's always significantly worse in Western New York. In Buffalo, where, it's like 24, 25, 30 inches of snow and stuff like that. And they don't have an NBA team. They don't have a baseball team. All they've got is the Bills and the Sabres. That's it. That's what they have, okay? And to come up short time and time and time again in such heart-wrenching fashion, the humanity in you just kicks in. You're like, damn, I feel bad for them. And then you got a stud like Josh Allen. You're like praying, like, please do it for them, bro, because he's got the goods. He is the real deal. And if anybody can find a way to pull it off, it's Josh Allen, because he is something special. And you just so desperately want them to just win one. You want to see Buffalo really, really celebrate a championship.
They're not front runners. You're right, Stephen A. It's cold, it's miserable. They come out to support their teams. Yep. They do.
They're loyal. They
are loyal.
If your team's not in it, you find yourself rooting for Buffalo.
Yeah, you don't sell your tickets to Knicks fans.
Exactly.
That's true.
It does.
That's true. I'll give you that.
The Sabres struggled at home. They struggled in overtime. They struggled in Game 7s. I mean, it's just like every time you thought they were going to get over the hump.
Whatever can go wrong will go wrong.
That's true. They are now tied with the Canucks for the oldest NHL franchise to never win a Stanley Cup. Better luck next year. All right, let's go to the NFL. Aaron.